Hello there, CriterioNate here. When I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old, I was at my aunt's house, and her two dogs were out somewhere, and I don't know, my aunt was with my mom, and they were in the house. They didn't hear me, and they had this huge. My aunt used to live next to my grandmother in this huge house, and I guess I was standing on the road somewhere, and they just came up and attacked me out of nowhere, and they scratched me and bit me, and I had to go to the hospital, and since then, I mean, this was years ago, but I've always had a bit of a fear of dogs. And, I mean, it's usually bigger dogs. The little dogs I can stand. It's just the barking. The barking I can't, I will freak the hell out if I'm walking past a fence. I hate walking past fences with dogs that just know you're there. Just start yelling, screaming their head off, because somebody is there. Whether or not they see the color is irrelevant. Someone is there. They have been trained to hate and destroy. That's from something else. Anyway, I only tell this story because watching this movie, got me thinking about a lot of stuff. I knew this movie would be, again, I told you I've been waiting for this one forever. Well, not forever, but ever since I found out about it. And I think they mentioned it in the supplements to, they mentioned it, I think, in the supplements to either the Shock Corridor or the Naked Kiss. When I found out, I was like, oh shit, this sounds intriguing. Not knowing that it wasn't a Samuel Fuller joint, so to say. It's based on, well, first of all, I might as well give you the introduction. Number 4, what number is this? Number 455, Samuel Fuller's White Dog. 1982, 90 minutes, color, Monora 1.78 to 1 aspect ratio, and all that good stuff. So it's based on a book by a guy named Romain Gary, which was written, I think, in 1970. I guess it's sort of autobiographical. It's about this dog who, through a series of accidents, has been found out as a white dog, aka a dog who has been trained to attack only black people. And so, so it's about this book, and there's obviously some big differences between the book and the film. The film itself, I mean, has that Fuller touch to it. Fuller has talked about race throughout his movies, even ones that Criterion needs to get off their ass and put in the Criterion collection, like the Crimson Kimono, ones I'd like to see. I am definitely going to consider trying to get all of Fuller's movies after this one, because I am now convinced. I want to see The Naked Kiss again and the Shock Corridor, because I'm still not crazy about those, but again, seeing his other movies, and I love Pick Up on South Street. I did absolutely love that movie, and so, and the movies in the first films of Samuel Fuller, Eclipse Set, are fantastic, and so he makes a good movie, and this is absolutely, without a doubt, no exception. I really thought this movie was pretty sick. It did not disappoint, and the ending was a little iffy for me until I kind of read up on it and realized what Fuller was trying to get across in the ending, because the ending of the movie is totally different from the book, which I'll tell you in a second. So anyway, the plot. So basically, it's about this woman, Julie, played by Christy McNichol, who is she's a young actress working in Hollywood, I guess, and one night she's driving and she accidentally hits this white German Shepherd. she takes the dog and she takes it to a vet, and they look it over and they fix him up, and she decides to adopt it while trying to find the right owner, putting up signs and all that. And so her and the dog become friends and all that. And one night she's at home and a rapist breaks into her house and the dog attacks her. And then she finds out she's got an attack dog, basically. And her boyfriend is kind of nervous about this, especially in one scene where it looks like he's about to attack her. However, one night he ends up breaking out of her house. The dog ends up breaking out of her house and attacking a black, I think, garbage man. And later on, I think the next day when the dog comes back, Julie takes the dog to work with her on the scene where with her and a black actress, and the dog attacks the black actress, and so she realizes that there's something wrong with this dog, and so she believes that she can get this dog cured of his attack. She can take the piss and vinegar out of this dog. And so she takes him to a dog trainer named Carruthers, played by Burl Ives. And while at first, he accepts it, and he figures, well, we can help him. A black trainer there by the name of Keys, played by Paul Winfield, realizes after the dog goes crazy after seeing some of the black workers there that Julie has a white dog, and so it's much more complicated than just getting the attack dog out of him. It's getting the racism out of this dog, because someone trained this dog to be racist. And there's this, I guess Keyes believes that they probably thought that somebody gave it to a black man, and that man beat this dog as a puppy until the dog was eventually could take no more and just associated hatred with or racism with the skin of black man, or person in this case. And so Keyes goes through all these steps. He takes the dog and he puts a muzzle on it, and so at first he slowly tries to condition. He has the dog attack him with the muzzle on, and he's got all this gear and protective stuff on it. And he tries to first get the dog to realize that attacking him will is not worth it. And then the next step is having him attack him without the muzzle. He's still got all the protective gear on, trying to wear him out, trying to basically realize that he can't. I think he's trying to basically say that he can't hurt black people, or something like that. And so it seems to me like they're slowly making progress. Julie is becoming more and more nervous about working with Keyes and all that, but she still she believes that she's still under the belief that this dog can be helped or saved. However, one night the dog ends up breaking out of the cage that it's in and walks into town and ends up seeing a black man on the street and chasing him into a church and killing him. Keyes ends up catching up with the dog, capturing him back, sees and finds the body of the black man in the church, and starts to cry at the loss of him. And that was heavy. That was some really heavy shit. I mean, this whole movie's heavy, but anyway. And then finally, he ends up starting to offer him food, realizing that Keyes ends up offering the dog food, and slowly but surely it kind of becomes more and more apparent and all that we might be onto something. And so the final test is so that, he's going to get the dog to, to basically see if the dog will attack him after, after basically, just standing there just without any gear on, however, he has a gun with him. So if the dog attacks him, he's going to shoot the dog. So he calls Julie over, and while she's leaving, this old man and his two grandchildren are saying hi to her, and they say, she's the one, and the grandchildren say, "Do you have our dog?" And then the penny drops, and Julie realizes that the man that she's standing is like, "You trained that dog and to be a white dog?" And there's this like nervous thing, and he reveals his racism, and I don't remember the best of his kind or something, and it's like, and of course Julie goes off on this man and just berates him for being a racist, and tells the little girls with him that he's a sick son of a bitch, and at first he almost tries to attack her, but he just tells her that she just goes off on him basically, and so she drives off to the dog trainer's place, and she watches this, and the dog runs up to Keys, and he readies his gun, but the dog stops snarling, and then then nothing. And then the dog turns and sees Julie and starts running toward her, snarling and barking, and then just stops. And then she smiles and she's like, "Yes, it works." And so they hug and they embrace, and it looks like, all right, okay, then maybe it all worked out. However, shortly afterward, the dog sees Carruthers and starts to snarl, breaks free of Julie, jumps on Carruthers, attacks him, and Keys has no choice but to shoot the dog dead. And that's the end of the movie. Julie and Keys drag Carruthers' body out as the dog dies. And and so I guess the ending in the original book, the book ends with, I guess, the trainer, the black trainer who was bitter over racism, like secretly trains the dog to attack white people purposely. However, in this movie, Sam changes the ending so that, I guess the main point he was trying to get is that while the dog was cured of its racism, the hatred was still there. And on the Wikipedia page, there's a great note that, because the ending is ambiguous as to why the dog attacked Carruthers. Sometimes it's, I think some of it is might be because the dog has just gone insane after all this conditioning and testing and stuff. But I think but another theory is that the dog, Carruthers, looks a lot like its owner. He's kind of an older man with glasses, bigger man with glasses. But yeah, I think it's just the main point that Fuller wanted to make is that while racism can possibly eradicated, hatred is a whole other thing. Hatred doesn't go away so easily. It cannot be eradicated through training or anything like that. It's like if hatred is installed in us, then it is there for forever, and I think that message really means something, especially in this day and age. All the hatred going on in the world, I think it's very sad to think that we're all becoming white dogs of our own. Yeah. So anyway, a heavy movie, a very good movie, and Samuel Fuller, who makes a cameo in the movie as a film producer who turns down, who gives Julie some bad news that she didn't get a part. And I was like, "Is that Sam Fuller? It's Sam Fuller." Yeah. So I recognize him. He's kind of like the Charles Bukowski of director. He looks and talks a lot like not talks, but kind of looks a lot like Bukowski's older, sunken in, wrinkly face and all that. He smokes cigars and stuff like that. So kind of noticed that. Anyway, White Dog, an amazing movie. Don't let this full description of the plot turn you away. It's frightening. The dog is scary as shit. Although interestingly enough, they said they actually used 5 dogs in the making of the film. 5 separate dogs had played this one dog. In fact, there's a scene in the movie that involved 3 dogs in, I guess, one shot. There's an interview with the trainer, Carl Lewis Miller, who trained the dogs for the movie, and he plays the rapist that tries to attack Julie toward the beginning of the film. And so it's a really, really scary movie, especially if you don't like dogs like me. It's just like, shit. I mean, I've had so many, and I've had run-ins with dogs, in my adult life, dogs that have just been loose on the street, on my own street at that, street. When I've run, and I can't help but not run from these dogs, because I don't know what they're going to do, because they start running toward me, and I don't know what they're going to do, and it's fucking frightening. So anyway, this has gone a little longer than I wanted to. Let's wrap this up. White Dog, a fantastic movie, and it's a shame because this movie didn't really get the credit it deserved back in the day. It only ran for about a week. There was pressure from there were a lot of strikes, I guess, at Paramount Pictures, and there were a lot of movies that during that time that the production had to be halted on a lot, and so they had to pick a few to really finish, and so they picked this one. They gave this one a chance, and I guess there were some people from the NAACP who, some people thought it was there was one of them saw it and thought it was an important film. The other one thought it was extremely racist, and so there was pressure from African American groups who saw the movie, who couldn't see past the fact that a dog attacks black people, and not the fact that this is and everybody who's seen this movie, and including myself, everyone in the interviews has said that it's a completely anti-racist film, and this was actually the last film that Fuller made in America. His last, I think, 4 films were produced in France. He moved to France shortly after the release of this film because he didn't get the credit, and I think it was just a very, very important film. So shame on you, Hollywood, you stupid people. But I got a lot of problems with Hollywood anyway. Anyway, great movie. I'm so glad Criterion put it in their collection. Definitely going to pick this one up in the next sale. White Dog gets an A from me. Supplements, there is a 44-minute interview with John Davidson, the producer, Curtis Hanson, who co-wrote the screenplay with Fuller, Krista Lang Fuller, who's Sam Fuller's widow, and they talk about the history of the film and his history with racism. I'd forgotten about the bits with the black man who thought he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan in the shock corridor. I had totally forgotten about that. It's been so long since I've seen that damn movie. It's been almost 5 years since I've seen that movie. And in the scene, the scene with the kids singing the song in The Naked Kiss, they include those scenes in here, obviously, because they've released those films. And just to be fair, yep, this is the, yeah, we need to get some more Fuller in the Criterion collection. This is the last Fuller film we'll be seeing for now, for a long time. Yeah, so anyway, so there's that. Again, as mentioned, the interview with the trainer. There's some photos from the production, and that's it. So, it does say in the booklet, it says there's a 1982 piece in which Fuller interviews the canine star of the film, and that's why I really want to get this, because the copy I got from the library doesn't have the booklet in it. So I'm a little upset because I kind of wanted to read that. I'm just curious what that means. You know, Fuller obviously has a bit of a sense of humor, and I'd love to see what it was all about. So anyway, that's it for now. White Dog A, get this movie, especially if you're black, especially if you're white, especially if you're black and white. Anyway, go get this. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm not going to be able to do the next one, but we will do The Taking of Power by Louis XIV tomorrow. And then I'm thinking, considering the age of the Medici or whatever is at the library, I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, and we will go ahead and just do the next Eclipse series. So we will do Blaise Pascal on Thursday, I think, and then The Age of the Medici on maybe Friday. Ooh, actually, I don't know, because of how long. Because The Age of the Medici is over 2 discs long. I don't know if the Eclipser will have time to do it. I mean, we could do a two-part review, but I don't know. It would make sense. I mean, Cartesius is 162 minutes. So that gives you. Rossellini was need to cut that shit out and stop making such damn long movies. I mean, this is only 94 minutes. You know, it's like, why can't they all be like this? You know? So, anyway, but yeah, we will get to it. So there's a chance I may just go ahead and do Magnificent Obsession on Thursday, and then El Norte on Friday, and then do the Eclipse series this weekend. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out in due time. Again, depends on my schedule. You know how erratic my schedule is. But this is definitely happening tomorrow. This, by hook or by crook, this is happening tomorrow. For sure. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Don't be a racist. Don't train your dogs to be racist. And give Christy McNichol parts to acting, even though she's retired, apparently. Yeah. That's all I got. So, yes, racism is shit. Although hatred might even be shittier. Something to think about. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow for The Taking of Power by Louis XIV. And until then, goodbye.